Okay, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to change the scratch plate and the back plate on a Fender Stratocaster. Not only that, I've got a giveaway. Okay, today I'm going to be showing you how to change the scratch plate on a Fender Stratocaster. And this applies to all Stratocasters. They're all the same concept on how we do this. And as you can see, if you know about these Ultras, you'll know that this Arctic pearl finish actually comes with this burgundy tortoiseshell sort of colour. But I'm not a big fan of that. I really wasn't. And I don't know. I just felt like it was the wrong colour choice for this guitar. So as you can see, I actually already put a silver pearl one on. But I just feel it's a little bit blue. And the problem is, this is so white. And then you've got the cream knobs and the cream pickups that come as standard. So I thought, well, I'll go for something a bit sort of medium in between the rosewood and the white, and maybe cover a bit of the cream as well by having this sort of varying colour within here. But it's just a bit blue. So what I've done is I've actually bought the black pearl, and I think this might be the answer. You know, if I hold it there, you can see what I'm saying. So I'm going to show you how we change a scratch plate today on a Fender Stratocaster. Okay, so first thing we need to do is remove the strings. Now what I'm going to do is actually save a bit of time. I'm just going to detune it, and because I've got lock and nuts on here, what I can do is just release the string, pull it out and just lay it back over the hair. So what I'm going to do is we're going to lay the towel here just to protect the body a little bit, if it will stay there. Hopefully it will. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do that with each string. Take all the tension off and then release the lock and tuner, and then I can just pull the string out and put it back in later. That's the beauty of lock and tuners. They're really handy for things like this. So I can just lay the strings back over there. So just do this for each of the 6 strings, and then we can start working on getting this scratch plate off, which just requires a screwdriver. It doesn't actually take a lot to get it off. And luckily, when I did the other one, when I put this silver pearl one on, I found that there's actually a connector underneath, so that when you take the scratch plate off, all the electronics can just be disconnected from the jack circuitry, which I didn't know that they actually did that nowadays. That's actually quite a handy feature, to be fair. But maybe it's a new thing. But I've not had a Stratocaster for years and years and years. I bought this a couple of weeks ago. Got it for £1,200, which, when it's immaculate, hasn't got a mark on it. It was an absolute bargain, I felt. You know, so I was really happy with that. And it's a cracking instrument, and these noiseless pickups are outstanding. They really took me by surprise how good they are. I've never really been a single coil kind of guy, but since I got my Fender Telecaster Ultra, I felt I just needed a Strat Ultra as well, you know, because they're both just brilliant. The curves and the cutaways and the noiseless pickups are just outstanding. So they've really moved forward with these instruments. The contours and the ergonomics that they put into this, outstanding. Okay, so that's all 6 strings removed out of the way, so they're just back. And I'm just going to swing the tremolo arm, whammy bar, whatever you want to call it, vibrato arm. You know, everyone's got a different opinion what that's called nowadays. But yeah, so they're all out of the way, hanging over there, towel protecting the body. That's going to be okay now. All right, so that's out of the way. So now we can remove the knobs. So sometimes they can be a bit tight, but generally you should just be able to pull them up and just pull them off. So I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to get stuck with one of them now, aren't I? Yeah. Oh, I know it's going to be this one. This one's got the S1 switch in the volume knob, so you can actually force. I can't remember what it. Yeah, it makes so. It always puts the neck pickup on, I believe, when you press that in, no matter what configuration you got the switch in. But it's a sod to lift off. But there you go. So they just pull off. So now screwdriver time, and you're just going to go round. I don't know if you can see this. All the outside screws, all the way around the outside edge. So just make sure you don't do the ones that are holding the switch in, and not the ones that are holding the pickups in place either. Okay, so just quickly whack them. I'm going to fast forward this because you don't want to watch me undo every single screw. So here we go. See you in a sec. Okay, so that's all the screws removed now, so we're able to just lift this scratch plate out now. You tend to lift it towards the bridge and then pull it back a tiny bit just to unhook it from just under the neck edge there. Okay, there we go. So it's all lifted. Now, like I said before, there's a connector here on these Ultras. Not all Stratocasters have got this though, so luckily I can just press the connector, release, and just lift it out, and there we have it. Okay, now if you haven't got this, what you can do is just unsolder the jack. So you can just undo the 2 screws on the jack, lift that out and unsolder the back of the pin and the surround. But for now, there we have a removed scratch plate with all the electronics on the back. So now, what you need to do next is to measure if you're happy with your setup anyway, then what you want to do is get a metal ruler, or setup instrument, whatever you want to call it, okay, and measure your pickup heights. As long as the scratch plate is the same thickness as the one you're going to install, which mine is because it's the same brand, and I'll put a link in the bottom there in the description, so you know which brand I've got. But yeah, they're only 15 quid delivered, 16 quid off eBay. So and they're quite good quality, to be fair. They look really nice. Feel just as sturdy as the original Fender one. And you look on the Fender website, they're about 60 or 70 quid each. And these ones, 15, 16 quid delivered with backplate as well, matching backplate. Can't go wrong. So next up, we're going to have to measure the heights of the pickups, and I've already done this in advance, so I've got all this written down. So you want to know where to put them back, how high to have them ready for the perfect setup when you just place it back in ready to go. So you don't have to mess about too much. Okay, so I've done that, so I'm going to take these pickups out, put it on the new one, and then we'll worry about taking these knobs off and the switch and transferring that across as well. So as you can see, they're all loomed up, obviously all wired up and everything. So what I'm going to do, I should have actually just I'll put these screws down here on the floor, a bit more room then. Put the knobs down there as well, and I can lay that on there. Just give me a bit more flexibility for transferring this stuff over. Okay, so like I say, handy tool that you can measure your action with that as well, and do rocking on the frets to see if you got any high fret points as well. So it's quite handy for doing that. Okay, so start off with these pickups. So you just literally just unscrew the pickups until the screw pops out the top there, and it's ready to go. So there's one. And there's two. So that pickup's ready to release, look. Okay, so move on to the next one, do the same. They're dead easy to remove, these pickups. And do the third one. And then we're starting to get in business now. Be ready to transfer onto the new one. But these even come with the shielding on the back as well. You know, so for 15, 16 quid, you just can't go wrong. I haven't noticed anything since I put that silver pearl one on. I haven't noticed a thing different about it. So it's just not. I feel sometimes, yeah, you want to buy the original parts, but a scratch plate, you know, it's just a bit of plastic, moulded plastic. These are cut perfectly as well. They're perfect shape and everything. No high points, no sort of bend in them. They're just perfectly flush. They're really good for the money. Okay, so I'm now going to lift off. I'm going to do the switch, the 5-way switch screws. So just undo those fully, and just place them to one side as well. So you just do the switch screws, just like you did the pickup screws. And that's it, that's all it requires. And oh, I just lost them down there. So yeah, then the pickup switch is now out. Now, for the knobs, it's ideal if you get a little spanner. That's a 13, but it don't look right. Let's go for a 12. No, so it was a 13. Okay, so I've got a 13mm spanner, and literally you're just going to unnip them, and then you can just spin it off with your fingers. And there's the nut. So it just pushes through to the other side. And there you go. So what you've got to be careful of for these though, is that on the other side, you've got one of those retainer rings just below the scratch plate on the underside of the scratch plate on top of the knob. So you don't want to lose that if they tip over. So just watch out for them. So now I can just literally just pop those through. I've just got it all laid out so I know exactly how it's going to be. So I just lift that out of the way, put that to one side. I can bring in the new one and I start literally just lay it over where I just dismantled the other one, and they're all ready to just plop straight in. Okay, so let's have a little go at this. So they're all in a nice sort of layout. So I'm going to start off with these knobs and get them in place first. I pull up a few funny faces sometimes when I'm doing all this, so if you see my tongue sticking out, I'm afraid that's just one of those things. So, because I never tipped any of these knobs up, I didn't lose any of these retainer rings underneath. So when that go on. Sometimes it'd be a bit fiddly just trying to get them to screw back on initially and just catching the thread. Okay, so next one in. There we go. And the last one, the S1 switch, which is a lot shorter than the conventional knobs, because the conventional knobs have a real sort of high stalk through the middle. Okay, so I also put this, I need those screws that I dropped down the front there. Where'd they go? Hang on, come back. Where they gone? There they are, got them. Okay, so yeah. So let's get these screws in for the switch. Just start them off by hand, just so you're not cross-threading anything. You'll be able to feel then, rather than just forcing it through. Yeah, they're going in nice, that one. And then this one. Last thing you want to do is just strip a thread, you know. When you've got a gorgeous instrument. And the only reason I went for an Ultra is because I've never really been a big fan of the conventional Stratocasters. I'm more of a PRS man generally, but I've got a couple of Les Pauls which I absolutely adore. But yeah, it's never really big Stratocaster man, but I feel that this has now gone a bit more. It's almost like it's took on board what PRS have done for the guitar world and how they've sort of brought things on a bit, and they've started to pay attention and started to introduce a few of those parts and ways into their ethos, if you like, into their way of thinking. So just starting to modernise the Strat a little bit. It's always hard though, I suppose, for a company like them, when they've got so much history, to change anything, because people want the reason they got famous in the first place. They want a pure, as you know, they want a pure Stratocaster, you know, whether it's a 63 or whatever, you know, they want an original, they want that history. But at the same time, some people want them to move on a bit, like myself. I know I'm in the minority there, but you know, people want different things. We've all got different needs and requirements in our playing and our music. So luckily, they've started to accommodate everybody, which is handy. And they got another sale out of it, haven't they? So let's get these pickups in. Oh, these are a bit more awkward because they moved a little bit. So yeah, just lay them in the holes if I can. There we go, I've got those in. I'll get that in there. It's important that the rubbers on the side of the pickups underneath the mount, underneath the scratch plate, are still in place, because they actually act like a sort of bumper, a sort of height adjuster tensioner, if you like. So it's important to keep those in place. They're very easy to dislodge, actually. They're quite good on these noiseless ones, but on sort of conventional pickups, they move around quite a bit. They can come quite loose. So I've got the middle one in here. Yeah, that's in. And then just the bridge one, and then we're here. It'll just be a case of tightening everything up to a nice tension, make sure it's all looking good underneath. Once I've got these in, don't want to tip it up and have a look yet until these are in. Get these screwed in a bit. Yeah, that's coming nice. But yeah, it's really important before you do any of this that you actually take those pickup heights to save you a lot of hassle later on. I mean, you can always measure it from the underside of the string. So you push down on the highest fret, the string on the highest fret, and then measure the action basically of the string above the pickup, you know. And then the specs on the websites. So I've got everything on, so I'm just going to turn this over and have a little look to make sure it's all looking okay. So the wiring is all looking good and neat still. Got the connector there to connect back, to put that back on. So I'm just going to tighten these up. So I'm going to use that, just take these in a little bit. I'll adjust those once they're back on the... Well, actually, I'll do it in a sec. Think about it. Okay, so I'm just going to tighten up. Where's that spanner gone? It's alive. Someone's nicked my spanner. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is, down there. Okay, so just got that spanner. Just going to tighten these up, give them a nip them up, and then they'll be done, ready to go. Make sure you don't over tighten anything. It's the last thing you want is stripping the thread at this point. You know, these knobs don't take a lot of tightening, and you don't really give it a lot of welly when you're spinning a knob round. You think about it, you don't really give it a lot of force anyway, so it don't need to be ultra tight. You just want them so they don't loosen by themselves over time, you know. Okay, that's all good. So it's time to put this back on the guitar. So as you can see, it's all the black pearl. So let's get this plugged in. So I'm going to put it that way just while I do this. So I can't. Okay, not a lot of room there. Not a lot of length in that cable. So, oh, it's upside down. There you go. Right, okay, that's in. So now, just need to make sure that none of the cables get caught anywhere, and so that nothing's sort of holding it in the wrong place as such. So remember, get that neck under first, and then focus on getting all this in. Okay, it's sitting quite flush already, so there's no it's always important to just check that it's sitting relatively flush without any pressure down on it, because what you don't want is a cable being in the wrong place in the routing of the guitar body, or just caught underneath a pickup or something. You know, it just doesn't allow it to move up or down, or move, you know, forward and back and so on. So yeah, that's nice and flush, so there's nothing in the way that I can think of or see or detect at this point. Okay, so now it's time to get these screws back on, and then we can start worrying about getting these knobs back together, and then looking at setting the heights, and then whacking the strings back on, and then we're ready to have a little dabble and have a look at how it's looking, see where it's at, and see if it's the right decision. Okay, so I'm going to quickly fast forward this again, because you don't want to watch me put these screws in. So I'll quickly fast forward this. I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so I have a blackstar amp with your name on it. All you have to do is like this video, comment on this video, tag somebody in the comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to pick one of you lucky people to receive this blackstar amp free of charge. Okay, now it's not sponsored promotion or none of that, it's all out of my own pocket. Okay, so all you got to do is like this video, comment in the comment section, subscribe, and share it to 5 people, and mention as many mates as you can in the comments. Okay, so as you can see, got the scratch plate on, it's fully screwed in, ready to go. So I'm going to get the switch tip back on. Followed by the tone knobs. Just make sure they're fully at 10 o'clock, just fully round, so you know exactly when you position it that you're in the right place. And then just line that tin up with where you like it. done that more. A bit more than that. Not quite that far. There we go. That's nice. And then this one is a little bit more awkward. So you have to take the middle out, get the knob on first without the cap on in the centerpiece, and get this on first. Then worry about putting the... So you get that in place. Then you put the insert in last in the middle there. And you've got to line up the little... You'll see that there's a little sort of guide for a little pin that sticks out. And you've got to line that up. There's often quite a little git to get in, to be fair. There you go, it's in. Sorted. Okay, that's all looking good, so that's all back together. So now I just need to set up the pickup heights, using my little tool, measure and make sure each end, bass and treble end, are the right heights with regards to the Fender specs that they specify on the website for that particular pickup. But luckily, because this scratch plate is the same thickness as the one I took off, I just measured the height sticking out from the scratch plate, and then that'll just give me straight back to where they were. And then whack the strings back on, ready to go. Now normally I'd give this a good clean, but I only put that other scratch plate on literally sort of 5 days ago, so I'm not going to bother giving the neck a clean today. I oiled it at the same time, so it was all nice and fresh and clean, ready to go. So just going to sort these heights out, get the strings on, get it tuned up, and then we'll have a little proper look. Alright, so I'm going to speed this up because you don't want to watch this, it's boring. But like I say, just measure the heights, get it perfect, get the strings on, and I'll be back with you in a sec. We'll speed this video up because you don't want to watch this. Okay, so ladies and gents, there we have my Stratocaster Ultra with a black pearl finish. I'm actually really happy with that. I think it looks so much better than when it had the silver pearl on. I just felt it was a little bit too light, but now it's got that sort of contrast, but without being too dark, because it's got the pearl in it to sort of soften it, you know, rather than being too dark a black. So hopefully you can see that nicely in the camera. Looks like you can. But yeah, so I'm happy with that. Spot on. Okay, so that's how we change the scratch plate on a Strat. I'm going to flip it over now, just move the whammy bar away, and just change the back plate. So same old procedure, just 6 screws actually, 6, not 4. Just literally this is great actually, because this is just 6 screws out, not bolts, 6 screws out, lift it off, put the new one on the back, and then 6 screws in, and you're done. So, looking good. And don't forget, if you want to win that Blackstar amp, all you got to do is subscribe to my channel, like the video, comments down below, tag a few friends, you know, and get the word out about this channel. There's plenty more content. I've got something really special actually coming in the next few weeks. And all I'll say is the word Nebula, PRS. That's it, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say any more. That's the little clue. Sneak clue there. No one else actually knows. I've not said that about that in any other video. So that's the first time that's come out. Nebula PRS. And it's going to be something special. So watch out for that. So that's the old one off. Get the new one on. Here we are. 6 screws in. And then we are done. But like I say, I've got a few things on the go actually, a few videos actually being made simultaneously. Because some of these, I mean, one of these videos, the Nebula one, it's actually taken months to make. Hopefully it'll be worth the wait, because it's not quite finished yet. But it's a big learning curve, because I'm one of these people who like to have a go at doing everything myself. I don't like to just pay someone to take on everything, you know. You only learn through trying stuff out yourself, you know. Okay, we make a few mistakes here and there when we're doing it, but at the same time you learn a lot from those mistakes, and you end up sort of making yourself a more rounded person, you know, just a few more skills under your belt. Careful. Luckily that's the rubber side. So yeah, 2 more screws. And once I've got this one in, I'll just quickly go around and tighten them all up. Just getting them lined up at the minute. But yeah, I got this Strat Ultra. I mean, they're over £2,000 brand new now. And this is the exact model I wanted, the exact colour. I got it for £1,200 and it hasn't got a single mark on it. Still had the hard case and all the original paperwork and everything. There's not one scratch, nowhere. It's mint, absolutely plays amazing. Okay, so that's the back of the Arctic Pearl Ultra with the black pearl scratch plate and back plate. Okay, so hopefully, as you can see, or hopefully you agree, I think it's much better than either the silver pearl that I put on that was actually a bit bluey, or the original burgundy. I mean, that burgundy, who thought of that? Some people really love the tortoise shell. You know, some people actually adore the tortoise shell. I've just never been a fan on any colour. Any colour body, I just don't think the tortoise shell, it just seems too red. Way too red for my liking. And this is just too blue. Just a bit, it's not really silver, it's more blue. If that sort of chrome effect, I'd have liked that. But yeah, so there we go. So once again, Arctic Pearl with a black pearl scratch plate and back plate. And I'm going to be recording some videos on this guitar soon, so stick around, subscribe, get in with a shout for that Blackstar amp, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you soon.